France, an internal enemy and the challenges of immigration. France, often perceived as a bastion of liberty, equality, and fraternity, paradoxically finds itself confronted with internal challenges which test these fundamental values. In particular, the immigration policy launched under the presidency of François Mitterrand opened the door to mass immigration, often without fully assessing the long-term consequences. This essay examines the ramifications of this policy, the difficulties faced by immigrants, and the colonial legacy that continues to haunt relations between France and the immigrants' countries of origin. Immigration policies under Mitterrand. François Mitterrand, president from 1981 to 1995, implemented several reforms aimed at modernizing France and strengthening its humanitarian role. One of the most notable measures was the relaxation of immigration policies. In response to pressure from the left and anti-racist movements, his government regularized hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants, facilitating access to the job market and social services for many immigrants. However, these measures, although humanitarian, have not always taken into account the country's economic and social integration capacities. The lack of long-term planning has led to a saturation of public services and fueled social tensions. Urban infrastructure, schools, and the health system were quickly overwhelmed, creating a sense of competition for resources among French citizens and newcomers. The exploitation and marginalization of immigrants. Immigrants, mainly from former French colonies in Africa and Asia, were often relegated to precarious and poorly paid jobs. Despite their significant contribution to the French economy, they were frequently treated as second-class citizens. Housed in disadvantaged suburbs, these populations were victims of systemic discrimination which prevented them from fully integrating into French society. In addition, family reunification policies have allowed many immigrant families to join their loved ones in France. However, the lack of effective integration programs led to the formation of urban ghettos, where ethnic and social tensions were exacerbated. These neighborhoods, often neglected by public authorities, have become centers of discontent and protest against the French state. The colonial past and its consequences. France's colonial history plays a crucial role in understanding current immigration dynamics. Colonization left deep scars in countries formerly under French rule, such as Algeria, Morocco, and Senegal. French-backed authoritarian regimes in these regions have perpetuated exploitation and repression, forcing many residents to flee to the former metropolis. These immigrants, in search of security and better opportunities, often face a new form of oppression in France. Ironically, they find themselves criticized and marginalized in a country that has, in part, shaped the repressive regimes they were fleeing. This duality creates understandable resentment, both among immigrants and French citizens, exacerbating social and political tensions. France and its contemporary challenges. Today, France must rise to the challenge of reconciling its colonial heritage with its multicultural reality. To achieve this, it is essential to recognize the mistakes of the past and commit to a real integration policy. This includes investments in education, housing, and employment for immigrant and marginalized populations. Security and immigration control policies must be balanced by sincere efforts to promote social cohesion and equal opportunities. By recognizing the contribution of immigrants to French society and treating all citizens with dignity and respect, France can hope to overcome its internal divisions and build a more inclusive and harmonious future. Conclusion. France is at a crossroads, faced with the need to rethink its immigration and integration policies. Decisions made under Mitterrand paved the way for mass immigration, but without the infrastructure and policies necessary to ensure successful integration. The marginalization of immigrants, exacerbated by a painful colonial past, continues to pose major challenges. To move forward, France must not only recognize its historical errors, but also actively commit to building a more just and equitable society for all its inhabitants.